and welcome to the third tutorial of the Roblox exploiting series. In today's video we are going to be learning about functions, about tasks, and about how we can implement a GUI inside our script. For today's video we are going to be using a different executor because now we are not trash developers, we are going to be using Vault. It is paid, sadly, but it works very well and does not crash as velocity. So yeah, we are going to be also using an old project, an old GUI I had that I made in 2021 for KRNL. This is closed source right now, but I don't know, maybe I can drop it for you guys. It is very trash, like you can just... Well, yeah, we need to create the GUI, but yeah, this is only a library. Library is like a collection of resources that can be loaded during your runtime. For example, if we create a GUI in this case, it is going to be holding the definitions of every window and every toggle that you want to create. So yeah, in the previous video, the previous episode, we were using a global variable to declare a toggle. Now we are going to be implementing the GUI. So we are going to copy all this, we are going to paste it on top. Latex, why on top? Well, this is basically because Lua has thread execution. That means that it is going to execute things in order. If you try to execute, for example, swing before declaring it, it is going to throw an error, even though it is declared below it. So to start with this, we have to create our main container of the GUI. It works the same as all these buttons that you see here. So let's start with our window. Different GUIs will have different variables and different methods that you can call. Because this one is mine, I declared the window as library init, if I remember correctly. Now we are going to need to give it a name. So we give it to the library init function. We are going to throw an argument. An argument is something that the function is going to be using in order to complete the code that we have inside. If I don't give it a variable, if I don't give it an argument, it is not going to work because our function requires an argument. So right here we are going to call this latex UI. Perfect execution. Oh, and we are using the wrong syntax. There we go. Now if we delete this and execute it, this library init library. There we go. As you can see, our main container loads because we have it predefined on top. Now, if we want to create some tabs on the left side, we are going to be declaring them as local, let's say main tab with window, because the tabs are inside the window, equals to tab. With these two dots, we are calling this function that we created early. And we are going to give it the argument of the name. So our name in this case, it is going to be main boolean main, yeah, for example. So now, if we execute this again, we are going to see that now we have a main tab. This will again vary with your current library. You will need to check the documentation, but they are pretty much always the same. If we add, for example, another like secondary tab, and we copy this thing here, and call it secondary. If we execute this a third time, we are going to be seeing a new tab appear. Okay, so well, the close button doesn't work because I was retarded back then. I am retarded today also, but yeah, we are going to leave the game to delete all these instances. And now that we are back, we can come back to our script. So, LaTeX. What do we do now? I want to add the code. Well, now we are going to be coming back to our old script, and we are going to be, I don't know, leaving these definitions that we had previously, because we are going to be using them, and we are going to implement them inside the GUI. So, after the definitions, we are going to delete this comment. We are going to create our toggles. Okay, so for this, for example, auto swing equals false, and we are going to be copying this for each thing that we have. This one is going to be by Saber, and this one is going to be by DNA. Perfect. Once we have all this declared, we need to implement it inside the GUI. So what we are going to be doing is to create, for example, well, we are going to remove the global. We are going to be following the same structure. We are going to be firing our swing remote, but with, instead of firing it directly, we are going to attach it inside a toggle. A toggle is, well, you know what is a toggle, like activated, deactivated switch that we already created inside our GUI. So we are going to create a task with task spawn. And what this is going to be doing is to create another thread of execution in order to be able to execute multiple things at the same time. This is very useful if we are going to be executing a lot of things, for example, auto swing, cell, and voiceover, and at the same time. With this toggle, what we were doing is to swing the saber, then wait, then cell, then buy the saber, and then buy the DNA. With this, we can execute it all at once, but we need to create a different task for each function that we need to use. So, inside the task spawn, we are going to be creating a function. And as I said at the start of the video, you will be asking, LaTeX, what is a function? Well, a function is like an instructions manual that gives the computer what to do when you call your function. So, for example, we are going to be creating our local function test, and inside it we are going to end, and we are going to be saying it, for example, to throw a warning that displays function 1. Okay, so LaTeX, what is this doing? This is creating a local function with the name test and with no arguments. The arguments are useful if we want to test something. let's say for example our arguments is value. Okay, well, wait. We're going to be using this later. Right now, when we call our function test, if we run this script, it is going to execute the code inside the function. If we want to make this useful, we can give the argument value and include an if statement. An if statement is like a question for the computer. It is going to check if something is true, and if it is true, it is going to execute the code inside. If it is false, it is going to fall inside the else statement. We can use only if, but for this example and to be complete, we are going to be using else as well. So let's say if value equals to 3, then we are going to be printing hello world. Hello world. Okay, and else, if this is not true, we are going to be warning with not valid. Okay, if we execute this with 3, wait, we forgot the end statement inside the else loop. Okay, as you can see, we gave the function the value of 3. The function declared it as value, and it is being used inside the if statement to compare. When we want to compare in Lua, we use 2 equal signs. If we give it only 1, it is going to be declaring the variable, and it is not going to work. This is important because if you want to check something, you need to use 2 equal signs. So let's say, for example, we don't have 3, we have 2. Then it is going to print us not valid. Why? Because it is under the else statement. So now that we know how the functions and the if statements work, once we spawn our function for the auto swing, we are going to be creating a while loop to check if this is true, as we did here with our global variable, and we are going to tell him to do an if statement. We are going to check if our auto swing is true. If it is true, then it is going to use swing, and it is going to fire it into the server. Fire server. There we go. Perfect. This is also a function, but it is already declared inside Roblox, so we don't have to create it. It has no arguments because this remote event has no arguments. And we are going to close this. We are going to add a minimum weight in order to avoid crashes, as we saw with velocity. But this time, instead of 1, it is going to be a minimum because this executor is able to handle it. Now we're going to close our loop. And now we have our task created for our auto swing. Notice how instead of wait, we are using task wait. This is because we are inside a task. And this will only add the wait time inside the task and not globally. Now, Litex, I want to use this inside my GUI. How can I add my toggle? Well, we are going to create our UI control of the toggle with main tab, because we want it to be inside the main tab. We are going to create a toggle that is already defined inside our GUI, and we are going to be passing the arguments to toggle inside here. I repeat once more, and you are going to call me very repetitive, but it is very important. This code is only going to be working with my GUI. This is because different GUIs use different methods that are defined inside the documentation of the GUI, so you will need to check it. For my GUI, the only arguments that we need is the title, that we are going to call it auto swing. It's the text that is going to appear next to the checkbox, and then we need to create the callback in order to the arguments needs to be separated with a comma. If not, they are going to be called as the same, and the script is going to fail. So now that we have our callback, we are going to be using another function to check the state. As we learned previously, this is an argument, the argument state of auto swing. Yeah, auto swing toggle that we created inside here. So auto swing equals to state, and now we are going to be closing this, and perfect. Now we have our toggle for the GUI. If we execute it, what line? Main tab. There we go. Now if we come inside our game, as you can see, our auto swing toggle appears. When we enable it, boom, it works. Now we only need to repeat the process for every single toggle that we want to create. So we are going to be copying this and pasting it 4 times, if I remember it properly. And the only thing that we need to change is the arguments inside. So for example, this one is going to be cell. We are going to change this to cell. Cell. Oh, well, yeah, we are using the same definition for this. We are going to be changing it to auto cell, auto by saver, and auto by DNA. We are changing the names because if not, it's not going to work. For our swing, it worked because we declared swing and auto swing, but for the rest of the things, they were not going to be working. So now we want to change this to auto cell, then cell fire server, auto by saver, then we are going to be firing by saver, and now finally auto by DNA. We are going to be changing this to by DNA. Perfect. Now we have to create our toggles. So same process. Auto cell. We are going to change this to cell. Perfect. Now we are going to be using the auto by saber. We are going to be changing this to by saber, and finally our by DNA, auto by DNA. Perfect. Now we can execute our script, and as you can see, a new UI will appear with our correctly implemented scripts. If we enable auto by saber, it is going to be buying the next saber, I think. It should buy it. Maybe we are too poor to buy the next saber. Let me check. Oh yeah, we need 1 million. I'm going to be cutting this part. Well, yeah, auto buy is not working. Interesting. And it's not throwing any errors. Okay. Now we need to check our code. Oh, but yeah, here is the important thing. We forgot to add the arguments needed for our function. So for auto buy saber, we're going to buy all weapons, and for the DNA, we are going to be buying all the DNA. Let's see. Perfect. Now if we execute again, let's disable all this. If we execute by DNA, as you can see, it is going to buy all the available DNAs, and if we enable auto saber, it is going to buy the next saber and keep making cash. So this is going to be all for today's video. In the next tutorial, I am probably going to explain you how to make your own GUI. See you guys in the next tutorial.